One Demetrius McFarland did not hold back when he revealed to worshipers at Shiloh Baptist Church on September 14th that he contracted HIV in 2003 and discovered in 2008 he had AIDS.
The church was very accepting of Reverend McFarland. They were willing to help him in any way possible.
But once the pastor with 23 years of leadership started revealing more and more on the following Sundays, members and leaders say they realized McFarland had crossed the line. In a resolution read aloud at church, leaders shared and Pastor McFarland confirmed to us he admitted drug use, mishandling church funds, and what members say was the ultimate shocker, described by church deacon Nathan Williams Jr.
He concealed from the congregation of the church that he had knowingly engaged in adultery in the church building with female members of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church while knowingly having AIDS.
This past Sunday, McFarland was removed as church pastor. Still, church members say some congregation members are afraid to come forward, and many are concerned.
Who does this to people? And you're the leader. Who does this? I know a lady who is a member of the church who said she had slept with him and that she didn't want this to go public. And, she's running out now trying to find out, if there's anything wrong with her. And my heart goes out to her because she's been a wonderful, wonderful member of the church.
Deacon Williams says in his 70 years at the church, this is the biggest scandal the church has ever experienced. Williams says leaders have obtained legal counsel and is now focused on moving the church forward.
Our move is going to come directly from the council. We want peace, and we want to do the right thing legally. We're not looking to hurt him. We're looking to get the church back. That's our theme, get the church back. We want to get the church back. That's it.
But some members say they want justice.
I believe that he should be put on court and let the judge decide if he should go to jail or not.
And I spoke with Pastor McFarland on the phone after he made his announcement. He answered questions and confirmed everything he shared with his congregation. I also reached out to him again to get a comment after he was voted out as pastor on Sunday. However, he did not return my calls or my text messages. Montgomery police tell us transmitting a sexually transmitted disease is a Class C misdemeanor. At this time, no charges have been filed against Pastor McFarland. Deacon Williams and the members I spoke with on and off camera say they want to start the healing process and move forward with new leadership. Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church Deacon Chair Nathan Williams Jr. says these last few weeks have been a great challenge to the church.
Both of the membership of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church removing and terminating Reverend Warren D. McFarland as pastor of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church immediately as of October 5th.
Williams says it was an 80-2 vote.
It's not a dictatorship, so they need the church back.
Williams says McFarland has changed the locks on the church and changed the church's bank account, leaving other church leaders without access. Now the church leaders are consulting with lawyers and the bank to figure out a solution.
Vote him out, and that's what we did. Now, from that point, we still not under advice from legal counsel.
Williams says since McFarland's confessional starting on September 14th, which included admitting to drug use, mishandling church funds, and admitting to knowingly having AIDS and sleeping with women in the church, leaders went to the Medical AIDS Outreach of Alabama for help.
We were just trying to seek help. We try and get people from the AIDS Outreach to come out and explain things to the church. It's, what it meant. We want him to get well in due time, but it just didn't turn out that way.
Medical AIDS Outreach of Alabama offered the church free educational workshops and testing. The organization released this statement saying in part, quote, We would like to extend our compassion to those who may have been affected by the recent announcement made by a local church pastor. We are always saddened to hear of new incidences of HIV, and our heart go out to all of those living with the virus. HIV and AIDS can affect anyone from any background, and we encourage everyone to get tested, end quote. Williams says with prayer, the church can be restored as they start the healing process. Williams says McFarland was silent after the vote. However, Montgomery police confirmed officers responded to a disturbance call of people refusing to leave the church. Officers cleared the call after the issue was resolved. Police did not have to remove anyone from the property, nor was anyone arrested. Williams and other members I spoke with say they expect Sunday service to be a normal worship service without McFarland in the pulpit. Mark? Well, Val, it's clear this will be an ugly fight as church leaders try to force Juan McFarland to step down and realize that the majority of the members of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church no longer want him to lead the body. That's why a lawsuit was filed this morning. In it, there is a request for McFarland to turn over the keys, bank account, and access to a church-owned Mercedes-Benz. They also want a judge to enjoin both McFarland and a second defendant, identified as Mark Anthony Peacock, from acting in any official capacity of the church. Attorney Julian McPhillips, who is representing the church, says since the suit was just filed this morning, a hearing date has not been set. 2 head church deacons and 2 Board of Trustees chairmen, including James Long, say the overall consensus is to restore the church and move forward without McFarland.
Tametria, this happened rather quickly.
Indeed, Mark. The injunction hearing is set for 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Church attorney Julian McPhillips says he believes the magnitude of this case is what got it on the books quickly. The suit is requesting the termination and removal of Juan McFarland from all aspects of Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. That would include turning over the keys, bank account access, and the church-owned Mercedes-Benz. It also requests that Mark Peacock be removed from any official capacity with the church. McPhillips says both men have been served the lawsuit. Peacock has been served a notice to appear in court and plans to be there. The problem has been tracking down McFarland to serve him his notice to appear in court. Now, McPhillips says the hearing could proceed without him being served. It's up to the judge and he will be Judge Price to proceed or to delay the hearing. WSFA 12 News will be at tomorrow's hearing with the latest developments. Mark?
Tametria, today was the first time the public got a glimpse of McFarland. What was the atmosphere like in that courtroom?
Well, Sally, the courtroom was packed, and Juan McFarland actually sat behind me on the back row, which was odd because the plaintiffs and the defendants were up front at their designated tables. Judge Charles Price had to actually call McFarland up, and that's when he came up to the front and he sat next to the other defendant, which was Mark Peacock, who we now know is the parliamentary of the church, and he's also a board member. McFarland had no legal counsel. He was representing himself. He didn't say anything in the courtroom. Sally?
Tria, I understand that this was an injunction hearing and it lasted about an hour and a half. Tell us what happened today.
Right. Well, Judge Price made it clear that this was not his first case involving a church. Now, attorney Charles Anderson was representing Mark Peacock, and the judge immediately dismissed his attempt to dismiss the suit on the grounds that a court does not have jurisdiction in religious matters. Judge Price says, yes, they do, if the church can't resolve the issue on its own. And he said, obviously, this church can't. So the judge allowed 2 witnesses for each side to explain the suit and their position. Head Deacon Nathan Williams Jr. and Deacon Lee Sanders spoke on behalf of the church. Peacock spoke on his own behalf, and member Chauncey Ballard spoke for the defendants. Now, the 2 big questions are, was the church constitution valid that was passed last year? And now, who runs Shiloh Baptist Church? Reverend McFarland, would you like to say
You don't have
anything?
any comment, ma'am.
Any comment at all?
Come on, girl.
A lot of people have a lot of questions.
You don't have
Reverend
any comment.
McFarland. Is there anything that you want to say?
Let us by. Get out of the way.
Anything? Anybody? Now, as you can see, McFarland has gone silent since we last spoke over the phone and via text a few weeks ago. Again, this is a preliminary hearing. This is not the disposition of this case. It's a ruling on the church's request for temporary injunctive relief from McFarland and Peacock. So court will reconvene at 1:30, and of course we will be back in the courtroom to give you the latest development. Sally?
All right, and we will have the latest online and on First at 4 this afternoon.
Tametria, the deadline for McFarland to meet this court order is less than an hour away now.
That's right, John, and I can tell you now, this is the church-owned Mercedes-Benz. As you can see, it has been returned to the church property. Now, if we could kind of zoom over here, we see some reporters are waiting as well for McFarland to come out. Also, this window here is McFarland's office. I do understand that some board members, Board of Trustees members, as well as some deacons are meeting with him right now, so he is here. Now, they did not confirm if he has yet turned in the church keys or if he made it to Wells Fargo and Regions before he came here. As you mentioned, the 5 o'clock deadline is approaching, and if he does not comply, he could be contempt of court. And also, after 5, a restraining order will be in effect. Now, as you mentioned, this was a victory. So simply put, the members of Shiloh Baptist Church have the church back. Now let's break down the ruling. It upholds the church resolutions that were passed by the deacon board. It also reaffirms who the church leaders are, and it reinstates the leaders that McFarland called himself removing. Most importantly, it upholds the vote of the church, which was to terminate McFarland after he caused what they say is the biggest scandal this church has ever seen. And the other co-defendant in this suit, Mark Peacock, he actually resigned from the church in the middle of the hearing. So therefore, he was automatically removed from this suit. John?
Tametria, I know you were in the courtroom this morning, and we saw that DeJuan McFarland was there also. What was his reaction to the judge's ruling today, and how are church members feeling about what's happened?
Well, I can tell you that he was silent in the courtroom, but of course, when I tried to approach him afterwards to get a comment, he got physical, and he also still did not say anything. He had no comment. I can tell you that the courtroom was full of members, and I did not see a single person who was disappointed. Everyone was elated. People were crying tears of joy, lots of hugs, and some members were even chanting Happy Sunday. And John, coming up on WSFA 12 News at 5, we'll hear from those members, and also we'll tell you what's next for Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church.
The big question everyone wants to know is, did Reverend McFarland meet that 5 o'clock deadline?
Well, Val, one, McFarland did meet that deadline, fully complying with the judge's order. The Mercedes-Benz is parked. Of course, the deacon board and the board of trustees now have access back. They have all the keys to the church, the vehicle, of course, and the judge's order was also sent to Regions Bank and Wells Fargo Bank so that McFarland's name could be removed, those funds be restored, and the names be put back on the account.
I mean, it's a pretty complete victory, really. Victory for truth, justice, and Christian virtue, really.
Members of the Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church say those are the principles they were standing on as they went into court praying the judge would rule in their favor.
It is going to be a wonderfully happy Sunday, and we're going to shout the joys to the heavens in our church because we've wanted to be there for so long a period of time. And I thank you, Jesus, for this opportunity. God is truly able.
The deacon board and trustees returned to the church for the first time, now with access and forgiveness in their hearts.
We were moving in a studied fashion and doing a search for a new pastor. During the interim period of time, we had a very capable associate pastor who was also dismissed by Reverend McFarland when this started out. He will maintain regular Sunday service until such time as we complete our search.
McFarland is seen driving away from Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, possibly for the last time after serving 23 years as pastor. A restraining order is in effect, so McFarland cannot return to the property. Members are excited about this Sunday's worship service, and as Deacon Williams put it, service will be in full force.